The day my parents shipped me off to a therapeutic boarding school overseas, Leo Vance was playing in the freshman university basketball tournament. My own sister and my fiancée were in the stands, cheering for him. That was supposed to be my moment, my glory. The signed jersey he wore, from an NBA legend, should have been my 14th birthday present. I've been fighting with Leo for most of my life. It didn't matter if I was right or wrong. The second he put on his wounded act, my parents would rush to his defense and pin the blame on me. But I was their biological son. It wasn't until I died alone in a foreign country, riddled with sickness, that the truth finally hit me. If I ever got another chance, I would never again fight for a love that was so obviously, hopelessly biased. When I opened my eyes again, I was 13. It was the day Leo Vance was legally adopted into our family. Leo was my uncle's only son. My uncle and aunt had been driving him home from an amusement park when they were killed in a car crash. Leo survived, but the accident left him frail and delicate. My father and my uncle were brothers, and terrified that Leo would suffer in a group home, they adopted him. They made him their son. Sitting next to my mother on the sofa, Leo's voice was filled with a trembling hope. Am I really going to have a mom and dad? They won't call me an orphan anymore, right? Mom patted his shoulder, her eyes soft with pity. That's right. From now on, we're your mom and dad, and this is your home. I stood on the landing, watching the saccharine scene unfold below with cold detachment. It wasn't until my father spotted me that the warmth in the room froze over. His brow furrowed, his expression guarded, as if he'd already decided I was about to make a scene. What are you doing lurking up there? Do I have to invite you down? He snapped. From now on, Leo is your brother. He's been through a lot, and his health is poor. You need to be the bigger person and look out for him. Don't let me catch you bullying him. The words were identical to the ones he'd used in my past life, and a familiar weight settled in my chest. Leo is fragile. As the older brother, you have to give in to him. I had heard those two sentences so many times they'd become a permanent ringing in my ears. I used to be the cherished child of the family, but from the moment my parents adopted Leo, they showered him with all their affection. Because his life was tragic, because he was sickly, I was the one who always had to accommodate him, to yield to him. In the end, they gave him even the last scraps of love that had once been mine. But I was only 6 months older than him. And more than that, Leo was just my cousin. Why did my parents treat him like their own son, granting his every wish, just because he was a walking sob story? I still remember the day Leo framed me in my past life. My parents didn't listen to a single word of my explanation. They were too busy comforting him. Trapped by his tearful accusations, they declared me guilty on the spot and shipped me overseas, saying it was for the best, out of sight, out of mind. They told me they had done more than enough for me, that they didn't have a son as vicious as I was. Lost in the memory, I didn't respond to my father. My mother's voice cut in, sharp and impatient. Noah, be reasonable. Stop picking on Leo. A flicker of triumph crossed Leo's eyes. Seeing my silence, he added more fuel to the fire. I won't go in your room anymore, Noah. Please don't hate me. Right? Just 2 days ago, he had swaggered in my room and, right in front of me, smashed my favorite collectible figurine to pieces. The moment my parents appeared, he collapsed into a fragile heap, sobbing that he wanted to go back to the group home because I didn't want him here. And just like that, without asking a single question, my parents had torn into me. I let out a cold laugh and turned to go back upstairs. Noah, my mother called, but my father stopped her. Just leave him. From now on, just keep a closer eye on Leo. Make sure Noah doesn't hurt him. He sighed. He's old enough to know better. My hand tightened on the banister for a second before I continued to my room, acting as if I hadn't heard a thing. Even though I decided the moment I woke up that I would give up on their love, my own father's words still felt like a knife twisting in my gut. I ignored Leo completely. I had a rare second chance at life, and I refused to waste it on these people. If I studied hard, I could build the capital to escape this house and never again get in the way of their perfect family of 4. I was in my room working on a calculus problem when a knock came at the door, followed by Leo's voice, deliberately hushed. Noah Sterling, you think hiding in your room like a coward is going to solve anything? He hissed. Your parents are going to be mine, sooner or later. Just you wait. I'll show you how I'm going to kick you out of your own house. I acted as if I couldn't hear his arrogant tirade. This time, I had no interest in competing with him. A moment later, I heard the sound of Leo crying just outside my door. Anna, he sniffled. Is Noah still mad at me? I brought him a soda, but he told me to get lost. A dramatic pause. I never should have touched that figurine. I know I'm not worthy. Maybe I should just go back to the group home. You've all been so good to me. I'll find a way to repay you someday. I just hope that after I'm gone, Noah can finally forgive me. My mother rushed over to console him. It's not your fault, sweetie. It's Noah. We've spoiled him rotten. My sister, Anna Sterling, chimed in. Noah's temper is just getting out of control. I'll deal with him for you. You're part of our family now. Don't say things like that. You'll break our hearts. Fed up with the noise, I yanked my door open. Can you stop your little soap opera outside my room? It's disgusting. Leo looked up, his face a mask of panic. Noah, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I'll pack my things and go back to the group home right now. Please don't be angry with me. It's all my fault. Anna frowned, her disapproval aimed squarely at me. Noah, your attitude is getting worse and worse. It was just a figurine. Are you really going to hold on to it forever? My mother looked at me too. That's enough, Noah. There's a limit to these tantrums. Besides, you're the one who dropped the figurine. What does it have to do with Leo? My hand clenched around the doorknob. I'll say it one more time. He broke it. Not me. My father came up the stairs, his voice booming. Noah Sterling, stop blaming Leo for everything. Take responsibility for your own actions. What would Leo possibly gain by lying to us? Don't think you can push him around just because he's an easy target. I'm telling you, Leo is your brother now. So knock off the attitude, he roared. I didn't press the issue before to save you some face, but now you're going to apologize to Leo, right now. I looked at my parents, standing united against me. Anna had her arm around Leo's shoulder, whispering reassurances to him. They looked like the perfect family of four, and I was just some foster kid they'd taken in. It was absurd. My own parents refused to believe their son, siding with an outsider. They weren't just failing to defend me. They were aggressively demanding I apologize to the person who framed me. Even my sister, who had doted on me since we were little, was now Leo's sister. Catching the faint, triumphant smirk on Leo's lips, I refused to listen to another word of my father's tirade. I slammed the door shut, ignoring the sound of him pounding on it, demanding I come out and apologize. I leaned against the door, forcing my breathing to steady. I could faintly hear them cooing over Leo, calming him down. My past life and this one were no different. Even when I didn't actively antagonize Leo, they would still find a way to believe I was bullying him. All he had to do was squeeze out a few tears, and his guilt would magically become mine. How pathetic. My 14th birthday arrived. My parents' gift was a jersey with an authentic signature from my favorite NBA player. They knew I followed him religiously, knew how much I wanted an autograph, but I felt no joy, just a numb emptiness as I stared at the jersey. Noah, we haven't forgotten you. We do still love you, my mother said gently. But you need to treat Leo better. You have to control that temper of yours, understand? My father seized the opportunity to lecture me. Look, we went through a lot of trouble to get you this signature you wanted. All we ask is that you show us some consideration and take good care of Leo. You're the older brother. You should be more mature. Set a good example for him. I noticed the flash of envy in Leo's eyes. He shifted his weight, looking like he wanted to touch the jersey, but didn't dare, his gaze fixed on it longingly. You like this player too, Noah? I love him. It's just, my family was poor. We could never afford things like this. Can I just touch it? I promise I won't damage it. He sighed dramatically. I'm so jealous of you, Noah. Mom and Dad spoil you so much. Leo's forlorn expression immediately tugged at my parents' heartstrings. Just like last time, my father snatched the jersey out of my hands and handed it to Leo. His tone was final. Since Leo likes it so much, you should let him have it. You remember what I just told you about being the bigger person, don't you? Clutching the jersey, Leo asked with wide-eyed delight. Is it really for me? Oh, Mom, I'm so happy. Mom stroked his hair. Of course it is. We're all family. What's Noah's is yours. Your brother's, after all. Just like in my previous life, Leo had taken my birthday present. My parents promised they'd get me something even better to make up for it, a promise that remained unfulfilled even on my deathbed. Last time, I'd fought them, determined to get my jersey back, only to be berated for being less mature than Leo. But why? Why did my gift become his just because he put on a little show? And they had the nerve to tell me to be generous? He wasn't even my real brother. Why should I always have to be the one to give in? Even knowing the answer, I couldn't stop myself from asking. Is it my birthday or his? Why is he the one getting the presents? My father erupted. He pointed a finger at my face, his voice trembling with rage. I swear, the older you get, the more selfish you become. We're a family. Do you have to be so petty about every little thing? Do you think we don't give you enough? All you ever talk about is what you want. Do you have any idea how hard we work? We've spoiled you rotten. That's the problem. I nodded, disappointment washing over me. Without another word, I turned and went upstairs. Behind me, I could hear Leo's faint sobs. My parents were completely focused on comforting him. Even Anna took out the gift she'd bought for me and gave it to him instead. But today was my birthday. 2 weeks later, on Leo's birthday, my father rented out an entire arcade for him to celebrate with his classmates, all because Leo had mentioned he wanted to invite his friends to play together. For dinner, Dad generously booked a private room at a 5-star restaurant. I heard it was an extravagant meal, complete with a 3-tiered cake. As their biological son, I wasn't on the guest list. They handed me a $20 bill and told me to get my own dinner. The reason? They were afraid I'd make a scene at Leo's party and ruin it for everyone. They didn't even bring me a slice of cake. I ate leftover takeout from lunch, alone in the silent house. I didn't complain, didn't throw a fit. I just sat quietly in my room with a textbook, preparing for the day I could finally leave this home. The midterm exam results came out. As planned, I took first place. The school also scheduled parent-teacher conferences. The moment I got home, I heard Leo's dejected voice from the living room. "Mom, I'm so stupid. I can't even catch up to Noah. Are you? Are you going to send me away?" He whimpered. "I tried, but I just can't learn it. I'm too dumb. I don't deserve to be your son." My father comforted him. "It's okay, son. Grades aren't everything. Besides, Noah, when has he ever taken his studies seriously? He probably cheated to get that score." My mother agreed. "That's right, Leo. You're wonderful just the way you are. Don't work yourself into the ground over school. Your body can't handle that kind of stress." They claimed to love me, yet to make Leo feel better, they tore me down right in front of him, all to see him smile. If they weren't my parents, I'd have to applaud them. What a textbook case of enabling, coddling parents. I stood in the doorway, a sarcastic smile playing on my lips. Leo finally managed a watery smile. "You're the best, Mom and Dad. I don't have to worry about going back to the group home." My mother pulled him into a hug, her heart aching for him. "Of course not. You'll always be our son. And you got me to take care of you," Anna promised, thumping her chest. "Don't worry about a thing." Leo smiled shyly, looking up at our parents with hopeful eyes. "So, can you guys come to my parent-teacher conference?" "Of course," Dad said warmly. "We'll both be there." It was only then that Leo seemed to notice me, calling out, "Oh, hi, Noah." The atmosphere in the living room instantly chilled. I pretended not to hear him and walked straight in. "The school's having parent-teacher conferences. Who's going for me?" My mother hesitated, her expression apologetic. "Noah, your father and I have to go to Leo's conference. As for yours." I cut her off, my voice sharp as I looked up at her. "Does it take 2 people to go to his conference? Why are you being so difficult?" Dad snapped. "Leo's health isn't good. The doctor said we need to take extra care of him. As his brother, the least you could do is be understanding. But no, you have to fight over this too?" Even though I knew the outcome would be the same as in my past life, I had still held onto a sliver of hope. It was just another way to humiliate myself. I turned and walked back to my room, ignoring the angry shouts behind me. My heart was growing colder by the day. My 15th birthday arrived as scheduled. When I got home from school, the house was empty and cold. I had just pulled out my phone in my room when a call came in from my mother. It was noisy on her end. "Noah, honey, Dad and I are stuck working late. We won't be able to celebrate with you this year. Leo and your sister are here with us." Her voice was rushed. "I sent you some money on Venmo, okay? Make sure you get yourself something nice for dinner. We won't be home tonight, so don't wait up." I heard Leo shout "Mom" in the background, and she hastily hung up. I swiped open my phone and saw the notification from her. I scoffed. I didn't even bother accepting the money. It wouldn't be more than $200 anyway. As I sat down with a bowl of instant ramen, ready to do some practice problems on my phone, I saw a new post on Leo's Instagram story. I'd forgotten about this part. In my last life, my birthday had played out just like this. A popular singer was holding a concert in the next state over, and Leo mentioned he wanted to go. Without a second thought, my parents packed him and Anna into the car and left. Later, my mother remembered it was my birthday, sent me $200, and lied about working late. But the next day, I saw Leo's pictures. When they got back, I lost it. In the end, after Leo cried about going back to the group home, my father forced my head down and made me apologize to him. Snapping out of the memory, I clicked on his profile. There was Leo holding a glowing light stick, flashing a huge peace sign at the camera. And there was a group photo of the 4 of them, a family, smiling brightly inside the concert arena. Yes, their family of 4. Without me. They said they were working late and couldn't celebrate my birthday, sending me a paltry Venmo payment. But in reality, they took Leo to a concert on my birthday, lied to me, and didn't even think to invite me. It was the same in both lifetimes, and it made me sick to my stomach. Time flew. I graduated from a top-tier magnet high school, and as I'd hoped, was accepted into a university that required me to live on campus. To avoid Leo, I barely ever came home even on holidays, opting instead to hand out flyers to earn some spending money. But when summer break came, I had no excuse not to return. I packed my bags. It seemed that in the 6 months I'd been away, the four of them had grown even closer. They were more of a family than I, the biological son, had ever been with them. When I arrived, the living room was empty. I didn't care. I dragged my suitcase straight upstairs. When I pushed open my bedroom door, I didn't recognize the room. My bed and desk were gone. In their place were several expensive gaming computers with high-end chairs and a projector screen hanging on one wall for movies. Hearing the noise, Leo took off his headphones. When he saw it was me, he raised an eyebrow in triumph. Well, look who it is. Noah Sterling finally decided to grace us with his presence. He gestured around the room. See this? Mom and Dad turned your old room into my personal gaming den. Sometimes the whole family hangs out in here and watches movies together. I told you I'd kick you out of this house. This is just the first step. I kicked the door fully open, my eyes fixed on him. He smirked, sitting down on the floor and looking up at me. There's no place for you in this home anymore. I was so furious I was about to retaliate, but he immediately burst into loud, theatrical sobs. Noah, please don't kick me out. Anna was the first to arrive, alerted by the noise. She shoved me aside and knelt beside Leo, her voice tight with concern. Leo, what's wrong? Who's bullying you? Leo collapsed against Anna's shoulder, his eyes red. It's all my fault, Anna. I just wanted to relax and play some games. He took a shuddering breath. Please don't fight because of me. A family should be peaceful. Noah hasn't been home in 6 months. He must have missed Mom and Dad. If he minds, I can leave. I'm old enough to be on my own now, anyway. With that, Leo let out a series of racking coughs, his body swaying as if he were about to faint. Anna immediately held him steady, then whirled on me, screaming. Noah Sterling, do you have to make everyone miserable the second you walk in the door? You come home, and the first thing you do is terrorize your brother. You're a curse on this family. She continued, her voice filled with righteous fury. Nobody can relax when you're here. Leo doesn't owe you anything. In fact, he's the one who's always defending you. And what do? You walk in and try to throw him out. Are you even human? Faced with Anna's heartbroken accusations, I suddenly felt how pointless it all was. I hadn't said a single word, and she had already convicted me of a dozen crimes. I finally understood. In both lifetimes, my sister would always choose Leo over me, her own flesh and blood. The storm of her accusations became unbearable. Without a second thought, I raised my hand and slapped her across the face. Anna's head snapped to the side. She froze, stunned. My parents, who had just arrived, froze too. Leo scrambled up from the floor to comfort her. My father looked at me, his expression one of profound disappointment. Noah, what the hell are you doing? My mother shrieked, pulling Anna in her arms. Even Leo scrambled up from the floor to comfort her. Noah, I don't know what they're teaching you at that school, but you dare to hit your own sister? I see you have no respect for this family left at all. It's more peaceful when you're not here. You come back and the whole house is in chaos. I met my father's eyes without flinching, my voice dripping with sarcasm. When was I ever a part of this family? My good family, who turned a room I've lived in for over a decade into a gaming den for their nephew. My parents both flinched, guiltily averting their eyes. Seeing the tide turning, Leo covered his mouth and began to sob. I'm so sorry, Noah. It's all my fault. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't have made Mom and Dad so angry. If I leave, maybe you can get along with them again. I'll go right now. I'm so grateful for everything they've done for me all these years. He turned, pale and trembling, and made for the door, only to be stopped by Anna. Now my parents forgot all about scolding me, rushing to crowd around Leo, showering him with reassurances. Catching the hidden, triumphant smile, Leo shot me over their shoulders. I turned, grabbed my suitcase, and moved into the guest room on the first floor. The next day, it was already noon when I left the room. The entire family was gathered at the dining table, which was laden with steaming dishes. Seeing me emerge, Leo greeted me warmly. You're up, Noah. I got this specially for you. Mom, Dad, Anna, and I go to this restaurant all the time. It's amazing, so I ordered us some takeout. He beamed. You have to try it. I paid for it with my own money. This had happened in my past life, too. Back then, Leo had insisted on making me a bowl of noodles for my birthday. I knocked the bowl right out of his hands because it was seafood pasta, and I'm severely allergic to seafood. My parents and Anna, apparently having forgotten my allergy, had berated me for being ungrateful. Even after they remembered, they were dismissive. If you couldn't eat it, why didn't you just say so? Did you have to waste Leo's kind gesture? He didn't know you were allergic. How could he not know? The first time I ever had a seafood allergy attack was at his house. I'd never eaten it before and had no idea. After eating a single shrimp at his parents' place, I broke out in hives all over my body. My whole family had panicked. Anna, my sister back then, had been watching too many soap operas. She thought my aunt was trying to poison me. She shoved her hard, her eyes red as she screamed at her. Anna was only 8, so timid she couldn't even ask for a price at the store, but for my sake, she found the courage to stand up to an adult. But that was a long time ago. I blinked, forcing back the sting in my eyes. Seeing that I was still standing there, not moving to take a seat, Anna lost her patience. "Noah Sterling, have you lost your manners? The whole family has been waiting for you. Who are you trying to impress with that attitude?" I looked at the seafood feast laid out on the table, at the complete lack of surprise on any of their faces, and asked softly, "I've lived in this house for over a decade. Leo's only been here for a few years. How could you all forget that I'm allergic to seafood?" The entire family fell silent. Even Anna, for once, had nothing to say. I remembered how terrified they had been that day. My father had threatened to cut ties with my uncle's family completely. Anna had clung to me, crying, promising to give me her favorite doll. And Leo had been there, hiding in a corner, watching the whole thing. How could he possibly not know? Ever since that incident, seafood had never appeared on our dinner table. Even when we ate out, they never ordered it. But now they had all forgotten. Their world revolved around Leo now. There was no room left for me. Shame flickered across my parents' faces. Leo started to cry, his voice trembling with manufactured panic. "I'm so sorry, Noah. I didn't know. It's all my fault. Please don't blame Mom and Dad. I'll just leave." He stumbled towards the door. My parents, forgetting me entirely, rushed to comfort him. "It's okay, Leo. You didn't do it on purpose." "That's right. It's not like anything happened to Noah. Don't blame yourself." "Noah, come on, reassure Leo. I was the victim, and they wanted me to comfort the person who had set me up." The absurdity was staggering. I ignored the whole charade and walked out of the house. Soon enough, my final high school exams were over. I graduated as the state valedictorian with a near-perfect score and, just as I planned, was accepted to MIT. My parents were suddenly bursting with pride. The lectures stopped. They even threw me a graduation party, bragging about me to everyone who would listen. For once, Leo was the one being ignored. On the day of the party, my parents were cheerfully greeting guests when Anna rushed over, looking frantic. She whispered something to them, and their faces immediately contorted with anxiety. The three of them abandoned the party and hurried away, leaving a room full of bewildered guests. After 2 lifetimes, I knew Leo's playbook by heart. It always involved leveraging his supposedly fragile health to steal their attention. I wasn't worried. Instead, I calmly and methodically took over hosting duties, earning praise from our guests. The most enthusiastic of them was Chloe Vance's mother. She was a friend of my mom's. She'd had Chloe out of wedlock, and, to secure her daughter's future, had arranged for us to be engaged since we were kids. Chloe and I grew up together. She used to follow me everywhere. Anna would tease us, because Chloe would blush whenever she saw me, shyly offering me her snacks. The day her family took her away to another city, she cried and said she was going to marry me someday, making me promise not to fall for anyone else. In my previous life, after my family had been stolen from me, Chloe was my only hope. I had genuinely loved her and craved her love in return, needing it as proof that I wasn't completely broken. But she had been seeing Leo behind my back the whole time. To get back at me for him, she stood me up at our engagement party, leaving with Leo instead. I waited for hours, enduring the ridicule of every guest. I thought my parents would stand up for me. After all, I was their son. Only later did I find out that my own parents and sister had been the ones covering for them. I snapped back to the present, looking at Mrs. Vance, who was trying to cozy up to me. I offered a faint smile. "Annie, I think I should go to the hospital to check on Leo." I was an incoming finance major at MIT. I could be useful to the Vance family's currently struggling business. Eager to cultivate our relationship, she insisted on coming with me. At the hospital, a crowd was gathered around Leo's bed. He was propped up against the pillows, looking pale and weak. "Mom, Dad, I'm sorry for worrying you. It was just low blood sugar. I'm fine, really. You should go back to the party and be with Noah. I don't want him to be angry with me again." He finished with a few delicate coughs. "Noah's a grown man. He can take care of himself. It's your health we're worried about." My mother cooed, her voice dripping with affection and concern. "Don't worry, Mrs. Sterling. I'm here," Chloe said, looking at Leo with undisguised adoration. Leo's ears turned red. My mother, completely forgetting that Chloe was my fiancée, beamed at them like a proud matchmaker. "Those two are just perfect together." Chloe sat on the edge of Leo's bed, leaned down, and gently kissed his forehead. And that was the exact moment Mrs. Vance and I walked in. Her eyes went wide. She let out a sharp gasp. Chloe, what do you think you're doing? Have you no shame? Unlike in my past life, where I hadn't even made it into a 4-year college, I was now an MIT-bound valedictorian. Leo was headed to a local community college. In my past life, neither of us had much to offer, but Leo was clearly the favored son. To gain access to my family's connections, Mrs. Vance had still pushed for Chloe to marry him. But now, Chloe saw me, her face twisting with disgust. She pointed a finger at me. Mom, I hate Noah Sterling. I'm breaking off the engagement. I'm going to marry Leo. I love Leo. She strode over to me. I could no longer see any trace of the little girl who used to press candy into my palm, the one who cried that she never wanted to leave me. That girl was dead. The expression on her face was identical to the one she'd worn in my last life. Arrogant, entitled, and utterly repulsive. Noah Sterling, I would never be with a pathetic bully like you, she sneered. I only love Leo, and if I ever hear that you've been picking on him again, I'll make you regret it. You're a disgusting coward who only preys on the weak. What are you talking about? Her mother hissed. You used to say you were going to marry Noah. Chloe scoffed. I was a stupid kid. I didn't know any better. Funny, I thought. So was I. Before Mrs. Vance could cover her daughter's mouth, the damage was done. She looked at me, mortified, then practically dragged Chloe out of the room. That left me, my parents, Anna, and Leo. Even after 2 lifetimes, I still asked the same question. You knew they were together, didn't you? A flicker of guilt crossed my mother's face. Noah, don't be so crude. They're not together, and Chloe doesn't have feelings for you. Since she happens to like Leo, why don't you just let him have the engagement? Anna jumped in. Noah, you can't force love. If she doesn't like you, she doesn't like you. Are you going to hold her hostage? Since she likes Leo, just be the bigger person and let it go. It's a win-win for everyone. Otherwise, you're the only one who's going to end up looking like a fool. I looked at this sister who had defended Leo in both of my lives. I remembered when she broke our father's most expensive tea set, and I took the blame, getting a beating for it. When she was bullied by a boy in her class, too scared to tell her parents, I was the one who stormed into her classroom and got into a fistfight with him. I got grounded for a month for that. When I was lying in a hospital bed from the seafood, she cried over me, saying, Noah, don't die. I can't lose you. But now, she was Leo's sister. I tilted my head back, forcing the tears back into my eyes. I'll give the engagement to Leo, but you have to agree to 2 conditions. Leo's face lit up. You really mean it, Noah? You're not tricking me. I ignored him, my gaze fixed on my parents. My father nodded, a hint of relief in his voice. Noah, you've finally grown up. You're finally being mature about this. At the end of the day, we're all family. There's no need to make things so ugly and become a laughingstock. I'll tell everyone that the engagement was always meant for Chloe and Leo. I smirked. Not so fast. I haven't told you my conditions yet. First, remove my name from all family legal documents and trusts. Second, sever all legal ties with me. From this day forward, I have nothing to do with any of you. My mother froze, her face a mask of disbelief. Noah, do you have any idea what you're saying? Over something this small? Is it really that serious? Why do you always have to cause a scene? She shook her head, her voice rising. Leo's health is already poor. As his older brother, you're supposed to protect him and care for him. What are you doing now? Are you threatening us? Noah, you are such a disappointment. I felt a wave of nausea. At this point, there was no reason to spare their feelings. A scene? Well, have I ever made a scene? You wanted to adopt him, to make him legally your son. Did I throw a fit? No, I just didn't like him. Isn't that a normal human reaction? I never hit him, never cursed him out, never played mind games with him. The only thing I didn't do was kiss his ass like the rest of you. And that's making a scene? I am your biological son. I don't think I've ever been unreasonable or falsely accused anyone. But the moment Leo arrived, you believed every word he said and decided I was the liar. What kind of parents does that make you? I've never heard of anything so insane. Taking your nephew to raise as your own son while treating your actual son like an orphan. It's truly a sight to behold. Do you remember when his father borrowed $50,000 from us to put a down payment on a house? The money we needed for Anna's and my tuition? He never paid that back, did he? And now you're sinking even more money into raising his son for him. You knew it was my birthday, yet you ignored me and gave my present to him, spouting nonsense about what's mine is yours. Have you ever once seen him let me wear that jersey? It was my gift. On my birthday, my cousin shed 2 tears, and my gift became his. On his birthday, you rented out a ski lodge, booked a 5-star hotel, and bought a massive cake, while I was left at home to eat leftovers. The parent-teacher conferences. There were 2 of you, but you both had to go to support him, leaving your own son as the only student in his class whose parents didn't show up. When your son graduated as valedictorian, you told your nephew he probably cheated just to make him feel better. You turned your own son's bedroom into a gaming den for your nephew and made me sleep in the guest room. Can you find any parents more ridiculous than you in the entire world? Oh, and let's not forget lying to me about working late when you were actually taking your precious nephew to a concert. You remember that, don't you? And forgetting your own son has a life-threatening seafood allergy? That's hilarious. Is that what you call love? Do you want me to keep going? Or did you just assume I'd let you sweep it all under the rug and pretend everything was fine? Dream on. I'm starting to wonder if you swapped me and Leo at birth. Maybe he's your real son after all. My mother's face went rigid. She denied it vehemently. No, Noah, that's not true. You're our son. We love you. Her voice broke. I carried you for 9 months. How could I not love you? I cut her off, my voice devoid of emotion. If I had known I would be born into a family with such twisted loyalties, I would have rather died in your womb. My mother's sobs hitched. She stared at me, her expression one of pure shock. My father's face was ashen. Even the ever-arrogant Anna didn't dare to speak. I couldn't be bothered to waste any more words on her. I'm giving up the engagement. I expect the new legal documents in 3 days. Once I receive my scholarships, I'll transfer the funds to your account to repay you for the cost of raising me. Seeing my father about to speak, I smiled. Of course, if you'd rather we become enemies, destined to destroy each other every time we meet, that's an option too. I said it with a smile, but anyone could hear the chilling cold in my voice. Because I wasn't the same person I was in my past life. I had grown. I was the state valedictorian. I was an MIT student. I had endured for years, waiting for this exact moment. My father closed his mouth, his expression bleak. I left the hospital room without a backward glance. Just before the door closed, I heard his sigh, heavy with regret. But what was the point? It was too late for regrets. 2 days later, the documents arrived. My name was the only one on them. I was finally free. Standing on a busy street, watching the people come and go, I let out the first truly relieved smile in my 2 lifetimes. On the day Leo and Chloe got married, I heard none of the Sterling family attended. I didn't care. I just arranged for someone to leak the news at the wedding that Chloe was born out of wedlock. Chloe was the only child of the main branch of the Vance family, supposedly destined to take over the company. With that scandal breaking, rival factions began to move against her. Chloe's position within the family became precarious. Even her grandfather, the patriarch, started showing signs of abandoning her. Without the Sterlings to back him, Leo was worthless to the Vance family. Within a year, he fell ill. Chloe didn't stay by his side at the hospital. She was too busy looking for her next husband. Her position was unstable, and she needed a strategic marriage to secure it. That meant Leo had to pass away from his illness. I want to see Leo one last time. He lay on the hospital bed, completely drained of color, looking like death itself. Noah Sterling, he rasped, you must be so proud of yourself. Mom, Dad, and Anna don't want me anymore. Even Chloe wants me dead. He struggled to speak, but his eyes were still filled with a stubborn, undying hatred. I hate you, Noah Sterling. Why did my parents have to die while yours are still alive? I want to steal them from you, take over your life, and grind you into the dirt. I let out a cold laugh. You got what you deserved. I paused at the door and smiled. Don't worry, Chloe will be joining you soon enough. Less than 2 days later, I heard Leo had died. Chloe, as planned, married the illegitimate son of a real estate tycoon. The next time I saw Chloe was in her office building. After graduating, I had passed the exams to join the IRS. I was part of the team auditing the Vance Group. After my careful review, we confirmed that the company was guilty of massive tax evasion and was involved in illegal transactions. The blame for everything was conveniently pushed onto Chloe, the illegitimate daughter. In the end, all of the Vance family's assets were seized. Chloe's fate was worse. She went to prison. I heard she kept asking to see me, but I never agreed. The Sterlings no longer bothered me. My life was peaceful and comfortable. Why would I waste my time visiting a failure?